Okay, folks, welcome back to 3Zen. When I was flying at the airlines at Northwest, on occasion you'd hear stories like the one I'm going to share with you here in a moment. Sometimes you knew they were true, sometimes you really weren't quite sure, and sometimes, no, that couldn't have been true. But at any rate, I can't tell you which category this falls in. I think it probably has a degree of truth to it, knowing the players and all. At any rate, what happened is this one day, this airplane was heading into Frankfurt. The weather was just terrible. Low ceilings, of course, clouds, rain, traffic backed up, both coming and going. It was just a mess. So anyway, these guys are coasting in, and when they got to Frankfurt, they got put into a holding pattern. So the co-pilot calls up and says, Frankfurt approach, Northwest 168 entering holding. Any idea how long the hold's going to be? Now, this is significant to us because we know how much gas we have, and knowing how much gas we have and the time, we can kind of extrapolate how much playtime we have to sit there in holding. So that's why we often ask this, and the reply, Northwest, we do not know at this time, will advise. Okay, that's fair enough. So they go around the pattern a couple times, and captain looks over and says, see if you can get an idea how much more time we're going to be in the holding pattern. So they call up Frankfurt approach, Northwest 168. Any idea how long we're going to be up here in holding? Northwest 168, you just sit in holding. You're doing good. We will get back to you when it's your time. Okay. So they go around the pattern a couple more times, still burning fuel. And captain says, why don't you, just on the off chance, ask for approach clearance. So the guy calls up, poor co-pilot's the middleman in all this, and he calls up and says, Frankfurt, Northwest 168, requesting approach to Frankfurt. He gets this reply, Northwest 168, you will fly the approach when I tell you to fly the approach and not a minute before. Do you understand? Well, yeah, I guess I do. Okay, fine. So another trip or two around the pattern, and now the captain's had it. So he gets on the mic and he says, Frankfurt approach Northwest 168. And the guy says, yes, sir, go ahead. He says, look, Fritz, he says, we've tried to be polite with you, but he says, we are really running low on gas. I am declaring an emergency at this time, requesting immediate approach into Frankfurt. Northwest 168, fly heading jib, 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 you're clear as the approach. And got right in. Okay, so they get in, they land. I don't know how tight they were on fuel, but obviously tight enough for him to take those measures. They land, taxi up to the gate, and when they came to the gate, captain looked out, and he, on the jet bridge, he saw a pair of guys standing there in their Inspector Clouseau coats, the long tan ones, and fedora hats, just standing there, and you go, oh crap. So these two guys are just standing there. People start getting off the airplane, and these two guys make their way up to the cockpit. They come in the cockpit and they show their credential Bundespolizei. And the captain turns and he says, hey, look, he says, I am really sorry about getting short with the controller, but he says, we were really getting low on gas. And the one cop says, oh, that is not our worry. He says, we don't care about that at all. He says, what we want to know is, how did you know his name was Fritz? Who knew? Anyway, enjoy the story, enjoy the day. Talk to you soon.